I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's pertinent, and I was just telling you guys a little bit about it. But the internet is such a good thing and such a bad thing at the same time, as we've talked about many times. Social media specifically. But social media has like really just, I think, just absolutely destroyed the fabric of society as we know it. And I think it's like irreversible.
Yeah, until people realize that online communities are not the same as the community you live in, the people, your next door neighbors, who most people don't even know anymore, as they're two different things.
Yeah, we're just in this
Two different
weird
realities.
place now with like AI and shit. Like you don't even know what you're reading is. You don't even know if somebody you're looking at is real. You guys both, I know, like watch Destiny from time to time. Marvin specifically, right? You like Destiny? I think a little bit.
Oh, the guy. Yeah. I don't watch them anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah, I watched them before.
Well,
He went a little strong on those TDS.
There's a video of him going around. I think it's kind of viral, and it's of him reacting. Well, the video of who's the fucking homeless looking dude who like fucking sleeps in his own shit. What's that guy's name? Asmongold.
I have no idea.
There's a video of Asmongold like reacting to this Destiny video, right? And the video is Destiny going down this rabbit hole of like AI, and like there's this dude Egon Shalokian, I think is his name, and he's supposed to be this like physicist, like who's worked for CERN and like the government and like all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look him up right now, Google him, Egon Shalokian. He looks like a real person. He seems like a real person. There are pictures of him with foreign leaders. There are like published papers that he's done and stuff like that. But if you watch a video of him that's on YouTube, it's like, to me, very clearly an AI.
I don't even know how to spell his last name or his first name.
Just Egon. E-G-O.
There's a Reddit post here that says he's a real person, but some of his videos are AI altered.
It's a whole thing. I'm sorry to do this to you. You guys could go down this rabbit hole on your own.
Nah.
But there's a lot of like evidence to suggest that he's not real. But there's a lot of evidence to suggest that he is real. So it's bizarre. All that to say is like you just can't really even trust like what your eyes are looking at on the internet anymore. I literally saw today on Twitter clearly bots arguing with each other. And I was like, what am I looking like? So, you know, I did we talk about it on the show? I think so. The dead internet theory, right? Like how the internet, like social media is largely just comprised of like AI, like or bots fighting with each other and like driving engagement and like all this shit. Okay. But more nefarious than that is like the thing I was just talking about, these like clapback accounts or these engagement farming accounts that go to great lengths to get their engagement up. What's the best way to get engagement up? We talk about it all the time. Say some fucking controversial shit that's going to start an argument. I love when motherfuckers argue with us in our YouTube comments. I keep going with them. It's engagement, baby.
It's good for the algo.
It's free.
Yeah.
And so I got into an argument recently with somebody who I've known since childhood who posted something. I won't get into super specifics of it. Posted an alleged scientist. The person is a scientist, to be fair, who was posting a response to this online personality who does a lot of like food content and like food health content. And she's criticized often of being a pseudoscience spreader, a misinformation spreader. And from what I could tell, she is a lot of the time. And I wasn't ever defending her. But anyhow, like the person clapping back against her turns out is paid for by like Monsanto and Bayer and like $100,000 she's made off of these companies. So when somebody who's making $100,000 from corporations who make poison to put in foods for cheap is telling me that those poisons are highly regulated and thus safe for human consumption, I think there's a conflict of interest there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
There's a big conflict of interest in the way we do things here now.
I wanted Dusty's opinion on this the most because Dusty hates the government.
Yep.
And I do too, to be fair. But, like, isn't that laughable? The notion of like, well, it's regulated, therefore trust it.
I mean, there's all kinds of things that have been approved by federal regulations that have had to been recalled and brought back because they actually weren't safe. So,
But that's because federal regulations can be manipulated by moneyed interests. It is. If Marvin
the
is
people
a
that
senator,
are the CEOs of these companies go on to be the chairs of these federal regulators.
Yeah.
Like
if Marvin is Marvin is running for office and I work for fucking Kellogg's and I'm like, hey Marvin, here's a couple $100,000 for your very expensive campaign. Do I not think Marvin's not going to keep me in mind when I come fucking strolling into his office a couple years later and I'm like, hey, Marvin, this product I'm putting in food, it's going to save me millions, but it's kind of questionable. Do you think you could just sort of like, regulate it for me? Fuck, of course he's going to be like, yeah, of course, because that's what I do here. That's like,
it's more nefarious than that. Marvin in the real world would say, I ain't got time for that. You write a bill and bring it to me. I'll introduce it. And if it gets passed, I will back it.
You're
That's
right.
how bad it's gotten.
It
nowadays.
is more nefarious. And so, I don't know, that was kind of like the argument that I was having with this person. I think he took it like way more serious than it needed to be. So sorry if he felt offended, I guess, if you're listening, probably not. But I mean, like, come on, dude. It's just intellectual dishonesty to argue against that notion that like in the 80s, I made this point to him too, in the 80s and 90s, fucking tobacco industry lobbyists were on mainstream media news networks saying that tobacco consumption is safe. We know it's not safe now.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, and he was trying to tell me, he's like, just because something makes money doesn't mean it's bad. I'm like, no, but there's still a conflict of interest there. It just is. Just like I just read today, this is funny too. Facebook, do you know most of the executives working at Facebook, namely in their department of like managing misinformation? I don't know the exact titles, but like
malinformation.
It's all the people that regulate what they consider to be misinformation on the platform. Every single person working in this department has worked for a 3-letter
CA.
Yep, exactly. How could you sit there and be like, that's not a conflict of interest, dude? Like, oh my God. And these same motherfuckers, they work.
It's getting bad. Most
of Google's fucking people work for the CIA. TikTok's people now work for the CIA. So I don't know. I just social media, the internet, it's good. Like we are able to like do a fucking podcast among friends that like is fun for us, and like we've been able to build a bit of a community. Like that's all because of social media. That's dope. There are good like we know each other because of the internet, right? We would have probably never met.
Yeah.
So but like I don't know, man. There's just it is getting crazy and crazy fast. And last thing I'll talk about is this whole you may be sitting there being like, so what? Former CIA operatives work for fucking Facebook and Google and all this stuff. Well, have a look at Operation Mockingbird, which was a CIA large-scale program that began in the early years of the Cold War, which was a program that attempted to manipulate domestic American news media organizations for propaganda purposes. So the fact that these motherfuckers are working for social media companies, the 4 giants that like control the flow of information, you can't sit there with a straight face and not tell me that this is Operation Mockingbird expanding into bigger territory. Like, that's not conspiratorial to say. It's like, it's obvious.
Happening in real time, yeah.
So anyhow, I'm sorry to go off on that tangent, but I had to get it off my chest. It really bothers me because it's like, you know me, like I'm a science advocate, but using science to fucking just like own somebody and then call it science is so fucking lame, and it's not real science. Similarly, it's like, you know, I'm an atheist. I've talked about it. You guys know that. But like, I'm not one of those atheists that's like, no, you're wrong. That's not real. That's not real. Here's why. Here's all the reasons why. Like, that's not, I don't know. This was like the science version of that. Anyhow.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Welcome back,
Mm.
folks, to episode 105,
Yeah.
106
Yeah.
of the Harsh Language
106.
Podcast. We're talking about the most terrifying horror movie of the year later in the show, Oddity. At least that's what social media has said. So we'll get
Allegedly.
We'll get in on that. Marvin's back. Dusty's back. We're all back together. How have you guys been? You guys watching anything or what? I know you guys have been busy.
I've been good. I've just been keeping up with the Penguin. Last episode was pretty fire, so
I heard.
Nice.
I heard
been
it's
going
like,
all over social media.
it's like one of the highest rated episodes of a TV show ever.
It was really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you watched anything else or just that?
Yeah. Nope, that's it. I was watching a lot for the last show, but not so much for this.
Okay.
I'm not watching much. I'm starting to get actually behind because I've been so busy lately. I started The Old Man. I think I'm an episode or two behind on that. Slow Horses just came out with a new episode. I tried to start Bad Monkey, but haven't gotten too many episodes in. Agatha's the only one I'm steady with, and it's good so far.
Still liking it.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. I just realized how backed up I was. I haven't been watching a lot of stuff still. Kind of adjusting to like a fixed sleep schedule. But I'm almost done with that show. I was telling Marvin last week when we recorded. I was telling Marvin I'm almost done with that show, Lady in the Lake, the one with what's her name?
Yeah. It's a foreign show?
No. That was the Valhalla murders that you're remembering. I talked about.
Right.
Lady in the Lake is Natalie Portman's first ever appearance in a television show. I think it's her first appearance.
Oh, interesting.
It's really good. It's a little bit weird. Takes place in the 60s, and it's about like I thought it was gonna be like about like a murder investigation. And it kind of is, but not really. It's losing me in the last 2 episodes. I'll just say that. But that's the only thing. And I haven't finished it. But I just realized, like, there's a new season of Tulsa King out, which I know you're going to talk about later in the news. I didn't even realize that was out already.
that was it's out. It's on my watch list, but I'm not caught up with it. So I think I mentioned it when it started, but I haven't mentioned it again because I'm recording stuff.
I got to start putting in some work to get caught up, because hot off the presses today, the trailer for season 2 of Silo came out today, and I am very excited. This might be the greatest thing that's ever come out of Marvin and I's friendship, is me watching Silo. Are you excited for season 2, Marvin?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Not as excited as I am for Severance, but
I honestly think I like Silo
excited.
better.
So you haven't watched the 2-hour premiere of Superman and Lois?
Oh, I did. I talked about it last episode.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, did you watch
Nice.
it? Did you finally catch up?
I have not yet. No, I gotta watch the last the 2-episode finale and the 2-episode primer. I'll have that done before we record again.
So you have no idea what this final season's about?
I mean, kind of. I watched most of the last season except the episode finale, which
Yeah, the premiere was great. I thought it was really good. They're doing great job over there. They continue to deliver what is, in my opinion, the best live action Superman we've ever gotten. Despite the legacy of Christopher Reeve, like, this is that, but like modernized, I think. So that's been very good. Yeah, but the trailer for Silo's sick. I'll just talk about it a little bit, Marvin, since you didn't watch it. But it shows basically her, what I think is her going into one of those other silos that she stumbles across when she comes out. And in our main silo, I don't remember the number. Do you? But
No.
there is a storm of brewing. I think Tim Robbins is going to have a rebellion on his hands, because there are some people that I think they're elevating her character, Rebecca Ferguson's character, to like sort of like a heroic, like martyr status, because she chose to go outside.
Oh, yeah.
And so it looks like back home at our main silo, there's a little bit of a rebellion brewing, all while she's trying to like figure out what's going on, what's the truth. Great show. Great show. If you haven't
really
watched it, I mean, definitely watch it before this season 2 comes out November 5th, I think, or something like that. My only hope is that it doesn't go, but and I mentioned this before, I just hope it doesn't go the way of Lost and shit like that, where it's like it just goes and goes and goes and kind of like loses itself after a while. I think Dusty and I felt similarly about Yellow Jackets more recently with a show where it like gives you these like really, really interesting premises, but never like gives you satisfying conclusions to them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot. How about this fucking Art the Clown? Have you guys been hearing all the hubbub about Terrifier 3?
Oh, I heard. I mean, I got some friends that are into horror that keep telling me to watch them. I haven't seen any of the Terrifiers though, so I don't.
They're
I just
not.
know that they're like super gory and all that. So
Yeah, they're not good. They're like gory to the point where it's like comical. It's not like Saw where it's like trying to look realistic.
yeah.
Like it's comical. Like there's a scene in Terrifier 2 where he like takes this chick's fingers, like her pinky and this and a ring finger and then this one, and like tears straight down her arm. Like it's just it's comical bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting this time around is adding to the viral marketing of what is a super low budget horror franchise.
Yeah.
It's fucking beating out a fucking like AAA fucking movie release in theaters. It's crushing Joker 2.
Well, Joker was a flop.
Joker was a
from the
massive
start.
flop. This movie had a $2 million budget, and this weekend it made $18.9 million, according to this Hollywood Reporter article I'm reading.
Yeah.
And the article goes on to say it's somewhat poetic since the Joker is the actor David Howard Thornton, the actor who plays Art the Clown in the Terrifier movies. It's his favorite villain of all time. He even played him in a fan-produced YouTube series before Terrifier became like more widely available.
Oh wow.
So because even Nick asked me, I was hanging out with Nick and some friends the other night, and Nick was like, "What's the deal with this Terrifier movie? Like, why are we hearing so much about it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a low budget horror movie of all things, beating out a massive $200 million fucking movie like the Joker. It's like unheard of."
Yeah.
But I think it actually speaks to something a little bit bigger. Now, I don't think the Terrifier movies are very good, even for like B horror movies, which like they're not my thing. I think I've seen better like B horror movies. But I'm wondering if Art the Clown if he could potentially rise to pop culture prominence the way like Freddy Krueger has, or Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. Like, we don't have too many pop culture horror icons anymore. Like, not since the fucking 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the one that kid Five Nights at Freddy's, the bear? That was one that was
but not like
for a little bit.
Not like those three. You don't have one like the big three.
Yeah, no.
And maybe like
the Slender Man.
Maybe like Ghostface from the Scream movies, but that's not like a character. That's just a costume.
Ghostface.
So like,
yeah, it's different. Yeah,
you got Chucky. I'm wondering if Art the Clown is going to join these ranks of horror movie icons, because like
possible.
It's now transcended the genre, the horror genre. Like everybody's hearing about these movies.
Yeah, Jigsaw would be the only one. Yeah,
that's true.
Jigsaw too. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Haven't they moved away from Jigsaw though?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
on movie 15, you kind of have to, don't you?
Jigsaw wouldn't be the icon. It would be the doll on the bicycle. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Marvin would know better than me because he likes those movies.
No, C's the fan. It's Billy the Puppet.
Billy the Puppet, yeah. So Billy the Puppet, I feel like would be the icon, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If you watch a Terrifier movie like Art the Clown, he's like goofy and he's laughy and he's funny and he's whimsical and he's got some good comedic timing and he's fucking absolutely ripping shit to shreds. in a brutal and disgusting way. I don't know. Look, maybe he could. Maybe there he is. There's the boy, Art the clown. Like, he's creepy looking, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe he could join those ranks. I don't know. I might watch Terrifier 3. I don't know. Horror movies these days.
I might watch them all.
Ooh, you thinking?
Yeah. I mean,
Damn.
they're getting so hyped. And I mean, I enjoyed the crazy kill scene in that one movie. So
I did watch that. I never watched the movie. I just watched the scene because you had mentioned it.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. There's like I think Dusty and I agree on this. Like, there's like that gratuitous gore stuff. Like, I've never really kind of been into that. That's a lot of what like the horror genre is, unfortunately, because it's like
Yeah. It's all
I don't know.
shock and awe.
It's just like low budget stuff, which is fine because, like, you know, we've talked about like B movies and like how it became its own genre. That's not what it started as. It was just low budget movies that looked fucking cheesy, had bad acting.
Right.
It's funny that it became its own genre and that like people still make those types of movies. And I don't mind them. There are some ones that I do like, but I don't know. Terrifier is just, I don't know. Can't get into it. Cannot get into it. I saw a controversial thing this week. I can't believe it's not in my notes. I almost forgot to talk about it, but Rolling Stone. Oh, let's get into this.
Yeah. Good old Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone was making some waves over on Twitter, on social media.
They make waves everywhere.
They put together a list. Am I going to get fucking paywalled here? They put together a list of the 100 greatest horror movies of all time this month, just in time for Halloween 2024. And I gotta say, I am less than pleased at this list. And I know, hang on, I gotta find it. Was it Rolling Stone? God, I was just fucking looking at it. I even commented on it on our Twitter account. This will be the best way to do it. Let me go to our Twitter. Sorry. I totally forgot this had happened. I was like outraged and I was like fucking primed to like talk about it with you guys because it's like the perfect me fucking raging content.
Yeah.
Where do I go? Replies. There it is. Posts. Hollywood. No, I wasn't Hollywood Reporter. Variety, that's what it was, not Rolling Stone. Okay, here we go.
Variety.
Yeah. Variety, 100 best horror movies of all time, October 9th, 2024. Now, there are some egregious rankings in here, okay? Off the bat, Suspiria, the Dario Argento classic being number 99, that's an outrage. So it just gets worse from there. Now, I'm just scrolling through. You guys, I'm gonna throw this on the screen here. So I'm gonna just scroll through slowly so you guys could get a feel for some of these. Candyman, number 61, like
60. Woo.
The Thing.
Well,
number 46.
100 is too much.
It is.
You got to think too. 100 is too much. They lose track, and then they're like, "Well, I'm not moving it. It is what it is." And then it is. It doesn't mean anything. You need like top 10 or top 5. Like Jordan Peele, I don't know if you guys saw. He was on.
I saw. You posted it. It was great.
What's the name?
Jimmy.
Tonight Show. Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon.
And his list was cool. Or I mean, it wasn't his list. They just gave him some things and he ranked them.
No, but I think it was hilarious the way they did it, where it was like, "Oh, here's the movie. You don't know what I'm going to tell you next. Place
you have to rank it." Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yes.
All right, we're getting down to
his
the
list. Actually turned out pretty good.
His list was good. I think it was kind of corny they put his own movie in there because that wasted a slot.
That's stupid.
Get Out is a great movie, but it is not in the top 10 horror movies of all time. I wouldn't even call it a horror movie, but that's just me. Now here's where we're starting to see the ridiculousness of this list. Evil Dead 2, 34, a movie that redefined a genre, invented a genre. Give me a fucking break here.
The original Ring is down there too. Did you see that? Ring?
I certainly did. Yeah.
That is insane.
We got a lot of classics in here. Scream, like 25.
Blair Witch.
Dawn of the Dead, 23. Like, what are we doing here? The Shining, 18. How do you not have Halloween in the top 10?
Not even top 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Overrated.
Don't Look Now is a fantastic movie. I almost decided to make you watch this. Alien, not even in the top 10. Like, we're getting crazy here, okay?
Ooh, Night of the Living Dead.
Like Rosemary's Baby is number 5.
Ooh,
All right,
Baby.
cool.
Yeah,
Jaws.
Yeah.
Totally
sure,
Psycho. Totally Exorcist is number
Haven't
2,
seen Psycho.
bro. Like, okay, so now this was really controversial. This is why. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre number 1.
Where was Nightmare at?
I don't even fucking know. It was high. I don't even remember. But Exorcist number 2
Crazy.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre number 1. Okay. This was very controversial. I saw a lot of hot takes about this. The Exorcist it's one of those movies that transcends genre, okay? Just like Terminator 2 transcends the genre. Terminator 2 is a fantastic action sci-fi movie. Terminator 2 is largely regarded as one of the best movies ever made. Okay? Exorcist transcends genre. It is regarded as one of the greatest movies ever made. That it's not number 1 on this list. I mean, like, I love Halloween. I love a lot of the movies on this list. It is, in my mind, objectively the greatest horror movie ever made. It just is. It's like a perfect movie overall, not just horror movie.
Yeah. Right.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to be fair to it, I think is a masterpiece. But number 1 on a list? Oh, come on. Definitely in the top 10, but I don't know.
Always subjective.
Well, what did we just talk about? Engagement, farming.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best way to get clicks, and they got probably millions of clicks from people reacting to this. So.
Some of the comments on it, though.
Can't take anything. Nothing is real. Nothing. Nobody means what they even put out anymore. It's just what gets the most clicks. It's kind of sad, really.
It is kind of sad, to be honest.
You can't even trust, like, do they even believe this list, or did they just do it to piss people off? Like,
no.
The comments are so funny.
Did a real person even write the list, or was it AI?
Oh,
that too is depressing.
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street was 74. There you go. Here's a comment.
Human Centipede.
Nightmare on Elm Street at 74 is crazy.
Oh my God. Did it come out in the 74? Maybe that's why.
Nah, that is crazy though. Like, come on. Like, again, we're talking about genre defining movies that like changed the genres. Like, Candyman at 61. I don't know. Craziness. So crazy. Especially since Candyman was like
it came out in 84.
Candyman was like, it's not just a horror movie. And like, we've talked about this before too. Like, you know, with all this like woke shit that goes on, conversations about wokeness, like horror has always been like the wokest shit there is. You know, invented the final girl, the premise of like the strong female lead. Candyman is a fucking movie about gentrification.
The star athlete.
What's that?
The star athlete.
Oh, yeah.
The guy, yeah.
The asshole jock, yeah.
Yeah. Candyman being a movie about gentrification at like in the fucking 80s when this shit came. Like, I don't know. Horror. It's Candyman, the original Candyman?
Yeah, it's 92 right there, didn't it?
Hang on. Oh yeah, 92. Okay, yeah, you're right. But yeah, so I don't know. Just horror has always been like pretty progressive in terms of its cultural commentary.
Zeitgeist.
Was Child's Play on the list?
I
don't remember seeing it.
I don't remember seeing it either, actually.
That's crazy.
And speaking of horror movies being progressive, my boy, JC, and I ain't talking about Jesus Christ. I'm talking about the real savior, John Carpenter. He was out here talking about, you know, he had some not so good things to say about the election. He said, there's so much of what we've turned into as a country that just makes me heartsick. This return of racism and xenophobia has been brought back by Trump. What do you think about that, Dusty?
Do I think that Trump brought racism back to America? No,
of course not.
Do I think the societal zeitgeist, the social media and everything else brought back racism in a way that it doesn't exist, but talk about it like it still does?
Yeah. He made it a little bit He popularized it. But props to John Carpenter. A real OG Triple G.
He
Still
made it
fucking-
hip again.
He did make it hip again. He did. But yeah. So endless love for John Carpenter. I hope he lives forever. But well, that's
Everybody is every pejorative, and no word has meaning anymore. Is where we're at.
pretty
Feels
much.
like.
Yeah, no, 100% actually, pretty much. But let's get into some news, Dusty. What you got for us this week?
Okay. Oh shit. Let's see. We got a little bit of news. We talked about Superman and Lois. So we got Oscars coming up. Looks like Hugh and Ryan are leading the polls in the hosting duties. Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler, and Dwayne Johnson also been approached apparently, but I feel like those are names you just approach every year when you're talking about the Oscars. I don't know why they don't just let Ricky Gervais do it, but
Oh.
a lot of people,
He's a little controversial.
different opinions about some of his past speeches. Yeah. So anywho, Oscars are coming up, and we don't have a host yet, but those are some of the names.
I saw they might be going for multiple, just like Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and then like others.
Possibly, yeah. I think because it's a thankless job because you get up there,
Yeah.
you have to do the bits, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not fun for people anymore, I guess. I don't know.
They need to bring back my boy Billy Crystal.
Yeah,
That's when the Oscars were good. Make the Oscars good again. Moga.
there you go.
Fuck MAGA. Moga, baby.
Oscar's good again, yeah.
Great
Be a
again.
good one. All right.
Dusty, before we really get into the news, you weren't with us for the Salem's Lot chat. I forgot to ask you. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
Did you like it? What did you think of it?
it was all right.
I'm still
Wasn't
thinking about it
great.
like a week later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of. I was like, it's good, but I don't know.
It wasn't
It's kind of
good
how I
as the
feel about a
original.
lot of these scary movies I've been watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. It was all right,
Okay.
but
Easy enough.
nothing like really. Oh, they really did a good. I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me. I guess it wasn't.
Yeah. That's a good way to put
But
it.
yeah, I feel like you get that with Stephen King stories. They've been done.
I don't understand
so much.
how it could be so difficult to adapt Stephen King, who's
I
arguably.
don't know. He does. Like I said, that's why I keep saying like anybody can do it for $1. You can get his copyrighted material for $1, and you can make your own story. And there's been so many, but they've all been bad because it's. I don't know. People say you should raise the prices so people don't make this trash, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was trash. It was good. It was watchable, but nothing really memorable about it. So or
Yeah.
memorable.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I wanted to figure out how to get this movie on our list. We're not going to be able to fit it into October. I don't know if you see this movie called Strange Darling.
Strange Darling, huh?
Yeah, Stephen King mentioned it, and he
okay, yeah.
well, he mentioned it, but it's also like been going around social media. It's supposed to be like really fucking good. Maybe we watch it next month in November. We could schedule it in there. We just had a lot of like other horror movie stuff to talk about this month.
I don't know if you saw Hideo's tweet.
I did.
Yeah, the comment when I said the comments in that are here. Like, when he posted he watched something and he doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah, he says I have watched Salem's Lot, and that was it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, stay.
Yeah,
because he likes to watch some good stuff, So
yep.
Anyhow, I thought that was funny.
All right, so the news. What else you got for us?
Yeah. All right. This was a surprise to me. Mahershala Ali's first starring film role is actually finally making its way to public after being in limbo for nearly 25 years, according to The Hollywood Reporter. This is a mockumentary feature called Taste the Revolution, in which Ali stars as a revolutionary leader. They filmed this back in the early 2000s, and filming wrapped in 2001. But apparently they shelved it because 9/11 happened, and I guess they didn't want to do a mockumentary about making fun of the country, I guess. I don't know. Revolutions. But the trailer was released. I looked at it. It's definitely, you can tell, like, holy shit, this is 2001, all right. So it might be kind of interesting. They released it at a film festival, I think, in New Orleans, but we're going to get to see it. So his first starring role has been shelved for 24, 25 years, and it's finally coming out.
So
That's crazy.
that is crazy. So
Yeah.
this was produced but never surfaced until now.
Correct. And there's a trailer out, so it's coming out. And
Interesting.
they showed it at a film festival.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you got to, watch the trailer, it's definitely 2001.
Bet you he looked young as hell.
Yeah, he does. Okay. Rumors. I guess we can do a few of
baby.
those. This one I think was from Production Weekly, and they're subscription based, so no way to verify if they actually said these things. This is from somebody else reporting from somebody else. But Doctor Strange 3 will bring back Sam Raimi.
I saw that.
And the big bad this time around is rumored to be Dormammu.
I saw that.
Cast to play by Denzel Washington.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Rumors.
Now,
I don't.
rumors, but why? Why? Why is Dormammu going to be the villain? He already was the villain in the first one. Not really. He wasn't the main villain, but he was a villain.
So it was Jonathan Adams. Oh no, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. Okay. Phil Lamar did it in Avengers Assemble. I was just seeing who did the Dormammu voices in the MCU.
Yeah.
But
I
anyways,
guess to
yeah.
have him as like a villain proper would be cool, but I mean, listen, I'd be cool with Denzel. I don't know. I still want Denzel to play Magneto. When we released that short and on TikTok, people were not pleased with my opinions. They were like, why can't we just... You know what white people love to say? We should get Brad Pitt to play Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. Like, they think that's such a own.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? That's a real person. Malcolm X was. Magneto's not a real character. He's not a real person. He could be played by anybody, technically. Anyhow. But yeah, no, I'd be cool with that. I love me some... I feel like Marvel's just above his pay grade, to be honest. Or he's above Marvel's pay grade. I feel like he's like... I don't know. Maybe not. I don't think he would... I feel like he wouldn't do a Marvel movie, but then he's done the Equalizer movies, so what do I know? I feel like he's above Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know.
He has a little bit of that personality.
That money talks.
It's true. Marvel
he's doing the Gladiator movies, so
that is fair, and that looks terrible.
Well, it got a lot of shit because that was one of the movies that was trying to heavily lean into AI cast and AI secondaries. So
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT who should be cast to play fucking.
That might be the first Denzel flop. It was the Gladiator 2 movie, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
What else you got?
All right. Well,
speaking real quick, I'm sorry.
Reeve.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I saw a rumor thing that I don't have it in front of me, and I don't feel like looking it up, but it's not anything crazy. Just apparently, people have started to see early screenings of Daredevil: Born Again, and they're saying that, like, apparently, take this with a grain of salt. Rumors. Each episode has an hour runtime. It is darker, more grounded and realistic than the Netflix, and more adult-oriented than the Netflix version, which I don't know how you get darker and more adult-oriented than that one. But, so that's cool. Positive things coming out about it.
I mean, I guess I could see how you could go a little darker because I think Netflix did good in the violence category, but like the darkness category, I don't know if they really did a deep dive into it. They kind of did, but...
Yeah. Hopefully it's great. I mean, it only took 11 rewrites, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Will Reeve, Christopher's son, talked about his role on Superman with EW. This is what he had to say to everybody, because we talked about him being and what kind of role he'd play. So we've got to pump the brakes on my involvement. I have no insight into the plot, and I have no idea what the movie is about other than Superman. And this is after he's already filmed his cameo.
Oh, okay.
So he's got a very small role. It's just a cameo for sure. There's nothing that's probably going to come from it. But he also wanted to talk about the Superman documentary.
Yeah.
And how coinciding with the release of the new Superman movie or a new Superman, I guess, cast being Kismet. whatever you want to, however you want to pronounce it. He said we didn't necessarily calculate that; it just worked out conveniently. So, and then he was also talking about his dad being the definitive Superman, which we talk about a lot on this show or podcast. So, yeah, it's a pretty good interview over there at EW if you want to get the whole thing. Pretty good, interesting.
I
interview.
kind of feel
But
bad. I don't know why they would release that. Like, I don't know why they would let that get out that he has a cameo, because it's like one of the more. It's a movie that has like an incredible amount of like hype around it. Like everybody's looking forward to it, and like.
I mean, I feel like that might have been one because he's not so super well known. I mean, I guess if the documentary had blown up, people would have like, it would have slowly trickled into the internet. Like, hey, that's Superman's son is a cameo, and it would have been a cooler.
Yeah,
I guess, but
I just feel like this is like way out of his like league, and he doesn't want like these like, there's a documentary about his fucking dad's life out. And you're out here being like, what's your role in Superman? What's the plot going to be? Like, come on, give the guy a fucking break. Yeah. Like, I don't think he would have wanted to be thrust into this whole thing if, I think they should have been a little bit more responsible with that, but whatever. All right, what else we got?
Well, for someone who can talk about things, Aaron Pierre, we talked about him being cast as John Stewart in his role for Lanterns. He went on to Instagram and had this to say: tremendously honored and abundantly grateful. A dream come true. Thank you for all the love and beautiful energy. Thank you for welcoming me to DC. Let's work. So, he's excited about his new casting role. I am too. I think it's going to be good.
I don't know about you guys. I don't think he's
for that.
I don't think he's dark enough. What about you, Marvin?
I think that's dumb. I don't know where that came from.
Well, it is dumb, but there is some legitimacy to the argument, is that the character of John Stewart was created to be dark skinned. Like that's like his thing. I don't know why, because again, I'm not a black man and I don't know about anything in regards to that, but apparently like darker black men are underrepresented in media. I can't speak on that.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
So I think the character, when he was written, believed by Neil Adams, he was written to be a darker skinned character, like purposefully. And so that's where the criticism is coming from. It's like, why cast like not a darker skinned person? It's easy for me to say it's stupid. I can't really say. All I know is this guy's fucking ruled in Rebel Ridge. And so, on his acting alone, I think it's a good casting, but I don't know. I also feel like people want, I don't know. I don't want to be dismissive, but like, it seems like
I think it's a great casting.
It seems like people just want to be mad about everything,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a valid criticism, but as long as they taking it up with the people that are doing the casting and not him, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know that he's getting any,
I'm sure there's some asshole out there on the internet who says you don't deserve the role.
Yes, you light-skinned piece of shit.
And it was Neil Adams that created him. I was correct on that. But I don't know. I'm interested in that. I think it's a good casting outside of all the
me too
controversy. All right, what else we got?
I mean,
okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Marvin. What you can say?
Well,
I was just gonna say it's always been a thing. Dark skin versus light skin in the black community.
Is it actually though?
With women, I feel like it's always been like a thing.
With women? Holy fuck!
Light skinned women usually are way more overrepresented versus dark skinned women. Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe maybe there is some like legitimate critiques there. I don't know, but like, all right, that's fair. No, that's fair then. Nothing I can say about it. I still think he's gonna be a good. I still think he's gonna be good in the role. Just
he's getting good John Stewart. Yeah,
I get that complaint. I guess. All right. What else we got?
Well, James Gunn. He usually reveals information on threads, and he was at it again this last week. Talking about Wonder Woman. I think the question he's talking about how Wonder Woman doesn't need a superstar like Gal Gadot to fill her shoes.
Whoops.
Just a professional. Because he got a question on Threads about him sticking with all these same well-known actors when he does all his movies.
Yep.
And so he had this response to say, I have never only hired well-known actors. I've hired many actors in lead roles that are less well-known. But I do only hire professionals, same as I do with plumbers, surgeons, and masseuses.
Yeah.
I think it's fair, although the fair isn't my objective. My objective is telling good stories. So yeah, I guess that's a response to why is always the same cast every time? Why don't you hire some unknown? And that was his response: is I hire professionals. Get over it.
He did say something else.
I think it's a fair response.
Yeah, he did say something else in regards to her height, because in the comic books, Wonder Woman is taller than Superman.
She's an Amazonian woman, princess.
Yeah. So I think James Gunn said something along the lines of like, I might have a hard time finding a talented professional actress who's 6'5", or something along those lines. I don't know exactly what he said, but
that's funny. He was also on Threads refuting some claims.
Yeah.
That the studio wanted to hire a middle-aged actor to play Bruce Wayne / Batman. This was from our boy, My Time to Shine. Hello. I posted on Twitter, I believe. And James Gunn's response was, sometimes the rumors folks get information wrong, but other times they seem to just make stuff up for clicks out of the whole cloth. This one is the latter. To which My Time to Shine Hello quipped back with other refuted rumors by WB actually turned out to be true. See Superman and Ultraman, the Superman suit and the Ultraman rumors.
Yeah.
That he posted that they refuted that turned out to be true. So it looks like James Gunn knows there's some leaks within his system and he's trying to subvert some of it by refuting and dismissing. And we don't know what's true, but we'll report on it either way. But that's some of the rumors going around DC right now.
A lot of people are really pushing for Alan Richardson to play Bruce.
Batman?
I think he's like cartoonishly big.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this.
He would have been like he would have been a better Batman in what's his name? The Snyderverse.
Yeah, if you want that Dark Knight Returns Batman, that huge hulking Batman. Yeah. I don't prefer that Batman. I still think Jensen Ackles would be the best pick. I think he's he's got
great. He's got the chops. He does it. He's voiced him before.
But he's got the face too. Like he looks like a rich guy to me. I don't know.
He could be Wolverine too with that pick. I mean,
could be. I really want to see. Oh my god, we were talking about lobbyists earlier. I am going to become a lobbyist to get fucking what's his name to play Wolverine.
But
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, that's great. There is a rumor that he is returning after Deadpool and Wolverine to a major role. We don't know what it's going to be, but
no.
Some people say Captain Britain, some people say the Cavalrine. Who knows?
The Cavalrine.
I think it is egregious that he put Josh Hartnett up there, though. Like, why? He's not a Batman.
There's just no way.
Please, just don't do that. But speaking of My Time to Shine Hello, he also talked about Andrew Garfield returning to the MCU for a big role in Avengers Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So that rumor's floating around. Now, Andrew talked with Esquire. They asked him if he'd love to come back. He said, for sure, I would 100% come back if it was the right thing to do. And then I guess he was on the Josh Horowitz's podcast, Happy, Sad, and Confused. He's an insider we talk about sometimes. And he asked him like point blank, what's with the, Spider-Man discussions, and Garfield really just he allured to acknowledging it's not unreasonable to think he has had discussions about bringing Spider-Man back. Like he walked the finest political tightrope line you could fucking walk with answering a question.
Yeah.
So he's like, I could see how you might think that I've probably had discussions. I don't hold that against you, but I'm not saying whether I have or haven't. So we don't.
There were some other Spider-Man rumors, Spider-Man 4 rumors, and I don't know how accurate it is. Obviously, Null is the big bad of this next Venom movie, Venom: The Last Dance.
Correct.
And somebody was quoted saying, "The King in Black is way too powerful for a one and done."
Yep.
That
he's better than Thanos, most would argue.
Right. that alongside the fact that apparently Marvel wanted Spider-Man 4 to be a street level, like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man type of movie, and Sony is pushing for it to be this like huge multiversal blowout again. And there's other rumors circulating now. Emma Stone will reportedly return as Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 4. Null is too powerful to be a one and done. Sony's gonna fuck up this movie. I have a feeling. Spider-Man 4. I want.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna tie it all over because we got the Black Blade or the God? I mean, we saw it in Thor. The blade.
It was the Ebony Blade.
The Ebony Blade. Yeah, that's Null made that blade. No, not the Ebony Blade.
No. Ebony Blade is the one that what's his name has Kit Harington. The blade in Thor was the different one. I don't know. I wish. I
think that was the Black Blade.
I just want to see fucking Spider-Man team up with Daredevil to fight Kingpin. Like, I want to see.
Well, that's coming too. I mean, we're gonna get some street level stuff.
Yeah, but Sony's gonna fuck up because they just want to make as much money as possible, and they think they got to have Andrew Garfield and Toby and all these fucking people to come back to do it. So I don't know. Yeah. Marvin, you see the Spider-Man trilogy yet? The Marvel one?
Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, No Way Home and
I still haven't
Far From Home, No Way Home, and
the last one.
He hasn't. I'm just giving him shit. You didn't see No Way Home.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last one.
Yeah.
Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
Yeah. Oh my God! Don't even talk about that movie. It's gonna make me cry.
All right. So back to the rumor wheel. We got some Scarlet Witch rumors.
Oh yeah.
Wanda will be a main player in both Avengers films.
Okay.
She will share a lot of screen time with RDJ's Doom as his lover, ? This is also from My Time to Shine Hello. So it feels like they're going to do a whole bunch of stuff and then reset the MCU after this next set of whatever. What are we on? Level 5 now? Level 4?
It's 5, but I love that they are bringing Robert Downey Jr. back and like an emergency, like help us, and it's just gonna backfire so badly. But anyhow, what else you got?
Okay. Well, we got Ready or Not 2 in the works. I thought this was a movie that we had talked about before because I could have swore we watched like a married couple movie where the family was doing weird, scary stuff. But maybe that wasn't it. But
weird, scary stuff.
Yeah, like the family has a weird ritual, and the
I've heard this. I've heard this movie is good, and I'd like to watch it.
Yeah, it looked like. I mean, it was a $6 million movie, and it drew in $28 million domestically, so it made them enough money that everyone's coming back for the sequel. I actually kind of want to watch this now. I thought it was one that we talked about, and I'm not even going to think of the movie that we actually talked about. Maybe I'm hallucinating, and we'd never talked about it, but it's something that I put on my watch list just from getting the news headlines. So
you're thinking of a movie that family does weird shit together. I couldn't even begin. Marvin, any ideas what this guy's talking about?
I kind of missed it. I was typing something.
No. So I don't know, but it was an oddball movie, a bit of an oddity, if you will.
There's the transition.
But yeah, looking forward to this movie. So I'm gonna go watch the first one, and then we'll see if the second one's any good. But yeah, that's all the news I have this week.
All right, Dusty, thank you for the news. Maybe we'll add it to an episode of the pod because I kind of want to watch it too. We'll see. But yeah, talking about oddities, let's get into today's movie. Why does every horror movie that comes out have to be like the scariest movie of the year, the most disturbing movie of the year? We just can't get reviews. Go ahead.
They pay people to say that to watch, so more other people watch.
I know. I just wish we could get a review that's normal, like, hey guys, Oddity was pretty dope and you should check it out. So, I don't know. I guess that's our job.
Or an honest review.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Had a lot of promise, but got a little predictable and fell a little short.
Was Oddity the most disturbing movie of all time? Let's find out. I did see a lot of social media hype about this movie because I hadn't heard about it, and I saw it on like TikTok, I think. I don't know. But this is directed by Damian McCarthy, also written by him. Just not much
sophomore film.
Yeah.
Everything else was a short. Yeah.
Yep. And this is the story of a psychic medium who attempts to uncover the truth behind her sister's murder at the site of the crime. And pretty simple plot. I mean, she goes to this house that's like creepy, I guess. It's a creepy house. It's like a castle kind of. It feels very cold and like unwelcoming. And some weird shit ensues, and we get like some flashbacks to the night that her sister was killed under mysterious circumstances. And yeah, so start with you, Marvin. What'd you think?
This movie kind of sucked.
Whoa.
Honestly, not sure how I feel about it.
Okay.
It's like maybe I need to watch it again, but I don't want to.
Did you watch it like and pay attention when you watched it, or not really?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
As far as the plot, I thought I had it figured out that the husband ordered the hit, but I was hoping they weren't so predictable to take the route they did, and of course they actually did. So I was disappointed with that. I was hoping for some type of twist or something, but it was just generic and kind of boring and to the point. The wooden doll was cool and kind of scary, and it had some good cinematography, and the sounds were creepy. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed with this one.
Did you go into it like not wanting to like it because you didn't care to watch it, or?
Because
sometimes that happens to me.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I'm not challenging your opinion. I was just curious.
Yeah.
How about you, Dusty?
I was excited to watch this because I'd watched part of the trailer and then stopped it, and the premise looked good for me. Like, the lady has supernatural abilities somehow, and she's looking into what happened to her sister.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped there because sometimes the trailer ruins the movie. And I went in thinking, all right, this is going to be good. And it started off great, and it kind of went nowhere, and it got easily predictable. And I was trying to figure stuff out like, wait, maybe it really wasn't Ivan, and she's just saying that because she's trying to get them to confess that it actually was them that set her up and killed her. I was going way deep. It was like, yeah, no, she saw it. It was Ivan. It's just weird conversation. I agree with Marvin. The doll was great. It was used pretty good. I watched it with Christina.
Yeah.
As far as jump scares go, she jumped quite a few times. So it's got that.
There's one jump scare that was
other than that,
really good that I was waiting for when the guy is by the tent and his head just comes
the
down.
tent. Oh my gosh, yeah, it
was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of in line with Marvin.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is. I had a lot of hope for this one because magic and stuff, that supernatural shit. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But it didn't really. It just was what it was, and it kind of fell flat at the end.
That's fair. So I actually feel kind of opposite of you guys. I do think it was not great story-wise. Like, it's very simplistic, and like, honestly, the second you know that the moment the husband is like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, like, you instantly know that he had his wife killed.
Yeah.
Like, it's not mysterious at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's really a flaw because, I hate to compare it. It's not a comparison. It's just like, what's my favorite movie of all time? Halloween. You don't get simpler than that, right? Guy sees girl, guy stalks girl, guy gets shot out a window. And so, like, I prefer simple plots, especially with a lot of the horror that we get nowadays. And I thought back to a lot of the movies we've watched this year alone, and you have Late Night with the Devil, like, super effective movie, really cool, like, tonally shot, all that stuff, but like really overblown, overcomplicated, like, and like sort of too complicated of a story by the end of it, that left us in our conversation like, well, no, but like, so, did he have her killed, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, so that we had that with that movie. Long Legs is something we recently talked about, and I just it's fresh in my head because I just edited the video for it. Check it out on youtube.com/the Harsh Language Podcast. It's our review of that one shortened. I mean, that was our gripe with that movie. It was just like this overly complicated plot that never really answered anything and did all this stuff. So like with this one, I was actually like, it was refreshing to see a simplistic plot where it's just like, hey, this is what happened. And like, just you're going to see creepy stuff happen.
Yeah.
And it reminded me.
It's like too simple though. Like,
no,
I
I
you said Halloween's simple too, but Halloween is like compelling. It's like,
yeah, it is. Well,
it keeps you like interested. Like this, you're just like, you don't care about any of the characters. You already have figured out that the guy killed his wife, and it's like the world. Nothing about the world makes you really care to kind of see it through, and you're just kind of seeing it through just to see what really happens.
You're just watching it unfold, even though you know what's unfolding.
I 100% agree. I totally agree. What this actually reminded me of the most was the movie we watched. Can't remember if we watched it this year or last, but it was the one from the director who did Evil Dead Rise. So it was probably last year. What was that movie about? Like the fucking sprites and shit. Hole in the ground. Hole in the ground.
Hole in the ground.
Where like the story kind of sucked, but like the filmmaking of it was really good, and that's how I felt about this movie. I thought this movie was like, I agree, really creepy. Like there was a lot of like, same with it was like Long Legs, like same basic idea.
Yeah, it was very well shot, and the scenes were set up very well.
Yeah. When I was like, I was like scared whenever I was supposed to be in this movie, you know. The movie doesn't use a lot of jump scares, but when it did, I was like, oh, like it worked. You know what I mean? I wasn't. It's like you're expecting it, but it still works, which is, you know, that's a good thing. I thought the acting was really good for being a low budget movie like this, or I would assume low budget. Like I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought that I really liked the premise of this thing. I don't even know what the fuck was that, like a family heirloom. They don't really explain it. She says her parents like got it for a wedding gift.
It was a gift. It was a gift to her mom, and it's some sort of what's the word?
It's just like a vessel for spirits. Like
a vessel. That's a great word. That's a good vessel.
But what does she explain it as? I didn't rewind it, but she says it when she gives it to him. She explains it as something like, and he was like, "Oh, like you're giving this to me? Thanks, I guess." What does she describe it as? I don't recall.
I missed it. I just remember they say in the 5th year you get a wedding, a gift made of wood. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really explain it. She just said it was a gift to her mother's, and then she's like, "You can have it," and she's like, she would be pleased to know that it's here, probably because her mom would know what it's going to do.
Yeah. So they don't really explain too much of the mechanics of it. They don't explain her connection to it, except you see like little like there's like things in its head, like pictures of them as kids, and like a vial of her, what I assume is her blood, and like some random stuff that you assume is what gives it the ability for her to control.
Invoke the spell. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was just like, didn't matter, but like the thing was creepy enough.
Kept moving.
Yeah, but that was the actual part of the movie that I didn't really like give a shit about. I thought the rest of it was what was most effective. Like, and I wish that was the whole movie of like this, because it reminded me a lot of Haunting of Hill House. With like the Haunting of Hill House, you finally have watched that, Marvin, right?
Yep.
Okay, so like ghost story, but with a compelling like family drama, and like the ghosts aren't always in your face, but when they are, it's scary. But like most of the time, it's like, did you notice that thing in the background? Like this was kind of like that at times, where she's like, especially the scene with the camera where the new girlfriend's like going through the photos. She's like, don't you see her face? And she's just like, randomly there. So like, it just did a lot of really good, like effective, like moody, atmospheric ghost stuff. And
it did good stuff, but plot-wise, it didn't even make sense, because like the guy that actually killed her ended up being like an actual human and not a ghost. And it's like they didn't even use the ghost really effectively.
Well, I think the premise about the ghosts was not that ghosts are dangerous. Well, actually, I am completely gonna contradict myself, but I didn't take it as the ghosts are like the danger. The ghosts in this seem to be like remnants of a traumatic death, right? And they're tied to the world via something, right? Like, and then the movie ends with like the bellhop one that she talked about way earlier with the, you ring the bell, like this bellhop ghost is going to kill you or whatever. Yeah. And at the end, he like defiantly rings it, and the movie ends with the ghost standing. Like, that was like really, I thought that was a really cool scene. It was like, so like, I really liked the ghost elements of this. Ghosts don't scare me ever because I don't believe in those things. And other than The Haunting of Hill House, I haven't seen like a really effective ghost story in a really long time up until this movie, to be perfectly honest. Like I think the last movie I think of with ghosts that like freaked me out was like Insidious or The Conjuring, like those movies back in the day, So I thought the stuff they did with the ghosts in this was really cool. It was really the doll that kind of like took me out of it a little bit. I thought it was cool and stuff, and he's like going around crushing heads for her or whatever. But I don't know. I could have did without that. I like if this was like a murder mystery, because like, and they do flashbacks to her getting murdered by where it like, I don't know. The movie goes between being like a ghost story and like a slasher movie.
That's why I could have done without the ghosts. Like, they serve no purpose.
See, I don't know.
Besides
really
showing like flashes to show that she's still like here or whatever, like I get that, but like showing the bellhop at the end,
you didn't like that.
No, it just was just confusing for no reason. Like,
well, it harkens back to what Dan was talking about earlier in the episode before we started talking about the film, and that science and how people can conflate science sometimes. And in the beginning, when like he's talking to her about the bell, and she's like, "What? You don't believe it? You don't want to ring it?" And at the end, he's sitting there and he's like, "Oh, I know this can't do anything. I don't believe in that stuff." Yeah. And he rings it.
Right.
And it'd be like Dan ringing the bell. And like, I don't believe in ghosts. And the bellhop standing behind Dan. There's that little bit of like, okay, Mr. Science Guy. You can't explain everything.
Bring on the bellhop, baby. I'll take him out. Yeah, no, I don't know. I actually, I get where you're coming from, Marvin, because it's like, it is kind of like two movies, but I actually thought that, like, had they done that whole like back and forth, like between like slasher movie to like ghost story, I don't know why I thought that was like kind of cool, and I was like enjoying seeing like the mystery sort of play out, especially the way they filmed it too, with the guy at the door who's like clearly a deranged lunatic, but like, did he see somebody in the fucking house?
Yeah,
like I wish
that type of stuff was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. That it didn't. I don't think it needed the ghost stuff.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying. I do like. It did feel like two separate movies, both of which I thought were doing good things. I think there's a world where they could have put them together and been effective. Like I think it was for me. It was just the doll that kind of like fucked with stuff. But like, that movie of just like this chick alone in a house and some fucking lunatic comes to your door is like, I saw somebody in the house. Like, an hour and a half like, psychological thriller of like, is somebody in my fucking house would have been dope.
Yeah, like her looking at the camera and saying like, "Oh shit, he was right. There is somebody in the house."
Yeah, like that was
cool.
Cool.
Like one of the best scenes of the entire movie.
That was cool. So yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I can't argue with it. But I did overall, I guess, enjoy the movie. I didn't hate it. I do agree with all your points though, that it is like a little bit boring. It is a little bit uninteresting. You don't care about any of the characters.
Yeah.
Although I think her
I didn't even care about the sister, because at like one point, if it made you think like, did her sister like kill her, and like she's doing some weird stuff trying to take over this house and kill the whole family? Like, what's going on?
Well,
so I didn't even like really care even about the sister.
I thought the main actor, Carolyn Bracken, she played both Danny and I can't remember the other name.
I thought Yana was.
It was Danny and Darcy.
Darcy,
yeah.
So she played both sisters. They're twins, and I think she did a really good job. And I actually thought she sold like their I think she sold like her heartache about her sister's death pretty good. Like, you don't really get a lot of their relationship at all, enough to like really give a shit. But I thought her acting was good enough to where I was like, okay, like she's upset and I get she's hurt and like that she's on this mission. Like I bought into that pretty easily. Dusty, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, I thought she did a great job as playing both roles. I think what I felt disappointed is the supernatural of it. Like the doll was cool, but then like it felt a little, I don't know, the payoff wasn't there. It's almost like she knew she was going to die.
Yeah.
And she convoked the doll and then that was it. Like the ending I was hoping for was to go back to the beginning scene where she's like, you'd be surprised what people go through to try and dig up some cursed item they bought for me to return it to me because they finally realized that it actually is cursed.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he was going to come running back to her at the end of the movie. He's like, please fucking take this curse off of me. I don't want this curse.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it was a little bit, I don't know, the payoff wasn't there for me. So, I mean, I get why she did it, but.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it becomes like another one of those movies that had like a lot of like cool ideas that just don't super come together in a really clean way. Similar, same exact thing we said with Longlegs. But I guess I think from like a filmmaking standpoint, it does a lot of like really cool and effective things. Like it really genuinely, I think, was creepy and like there was that tension there. I was never really like scared, but there was that one.
No,
jump
it makes
scare.
you anxious though, for sure. Yeah.
And there was that one jump scare that like really did kind of get me. But yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to say about it or any other thoughts?
I'd be interested to see what this writer director does next. You know, your first movie, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
The second movie, I mean, we watched the series of movies. What was that about the nun that was having the psychotic episode? No,
she Rose Glass. That director.
Rose Glass. Yes, yes. So we'll see. Like you know, when your junior film comes out, you're expected to do a lot more. But this was good enough for me to pay attention and say maybe do something better next time.
That's fair. Marvin, anything else you want? Any last words?
No, I didn't hate it either. I just if this was like super hyped, I think it was definitely like overhyped.
Well, it's not. It wasn't super hyped in that I heard a lot of people talking about it, but the people that I did hear talking about it were fucking like going nuts about it. Like, I mean, here you're just looking at Rotten Tomatoes. It's like even when like here's the article. Here's one of the reviews. Even when one knows what's coming during repeat viewings, McCarthy manages to consistently startle and shock. Oddity is the scariest movie of the year. Like, no, it's not.
It's not. I actually enjoy Longlegs more than this movie.
Oh yeah, me too. But is Longlegs the scariest movie of the year? No. Is I Saw the is Late Night with the Devil the scariest movie of the year? No. I mean, there has to be a scariest movie of the year, I guess, but like it's not. I don't think it's this one, and it's definitely not Longlegs. And I don't know. I didn't think Late Night with the Devil was particularly scary, so I don't know. The scary still exists. I don't know.
This year,
those three:
Devil,
Salem's Lot,
Few and Far Between,
Speak No Evil, which
Immaculate. Remember Immaculate?
I do remember Immaculate. I didn't watch Immaculate. You did.
I watched Immaculate.
You told me not to because it was the first one.
No, we never watched Sting.
Yeah, and said this one he sucks.
The Spider movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think scariness exists anymore for me. It's kind of sad. Like we live in a world that it is itself like so disturbing and shocking all the time that like watching a horror movie doesn't really fucking frighten me anymore.
Yeah, not like when you first saw The Exorcist or something.
No.
Or when you first, like when I saw like Evil Dead 1, that was like one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, or It and shit, yeah.
Yeah, it too, yeah. That was I mean,
Yeah.
we're just older now too, so it's like,
I guess.
you know.
But I don't know. For what it did, this movie did a decent job. It's got a 6.7 on IMDb. I'd probably give it a 6. I think just for the filmmaking alone.
It's a 6 because it's not bad, and we always say a 6 is good for a horror movie. So I think deserves a 6 at least.
I agree.
Definitely a 6. Yep.
All right, we got 6s across the board.
666. Maybe it is the scariest movie of the year.
Maybe. It's a 96% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, people love this shit.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
that's critics though, right?
Yeah, but the audience is 77%.
Yeah.
So like
audience scores generally
77,
closer to what we rated.
People liked it. I like. Here's a good comment. Absolutely loved a great supernatural whodunit, and that's what I liked about it because I love whodunit films and I love horror movies, and it did for a lot of the time feel like a supernatural whodunit. It's just that the story wasn't written well enough to where the whodunit was like kept you on your edge of your seat until the end. Like you knew it was the husband like basically 20 minutes into the movie.
Right.
Like literally the second he's like, "Oh yeah, I met somebody else." It's like, "Oh okay." Like clearly it was you. I've seen enough of these to know. Which is weird. I'm surprised the writer didn't try. I mean, I don't know, but like, is that a bad thing or is it a good thing? Like, I don't know. You expect like a whodunit to have twists and turns and the writer trying to trick you and all this stuff. Like maybe it's a good thing that he just decided to like tell a straightforward, like quote, like kind of realistic story. Like, you know, in real life, when a woman gets murdered, like 99% of the time, it's the fucking husband. So like, is it really that much of a fault that he did that? I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, didn't hate it. So 6s across the board, 666. That's crazy. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, and I think I agree with Dusty. I'll be excited to see other movies from him in the future.
Yep, same.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments, folks, if you've seen Oddity. Let us know if you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, I think for like an October watch, it's probably worth a watch. You know,
great October watch.
I think it's worth a watch. Yeah, you want to sit down, cuddle up with your significant other, and watch something scary. Like this does the trick. Down in our links, folks, is our new Discord. If you want to join our thriving community,
popping in there.
We talk about, people just share other stuff about movies and things like that. That's the goal. But most importantly, we share our schedule of upcoming movies we're going to be talking about. So that way you could watch along with us and get in on the conversation. So if you want to join the Discord, the link is down below. Please leave a like on the video. It helps us out tremendously. And we didn't even announce it in the beginning because I was so fucking hyped up talking about my little fucking Instagram argument. But we officially hit 700 subscribers.
Oh, did we?
Let's go.
Well, now it says 699, so maybe that dude unsubscribed.
Good.
But we hit 700. We hit it for a
We lost one.
We lost one.
We had it.
But we had it.
One of you who watches this will probably be our 700th, so thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. We appreciate everybody who has subscribed, and consider subscribing if you have not done so already. We do this once a week, and we would love to keep having you back. So thanks again for watching. We will catch you next time. You guys have a good one.
See ya.
Asta.